Salam alaikum, shalom, grüß Gott, bonjour, and welcome to this video. In this one I will talk about this amp, the Vincent SV-500. There is one longer video on YouTube which I recommend if you want to know more about this amp. Of course, the one thing I recommend the most is that you have a listen yourself, but I want to share my experience and tell you why the AudioQuest Dragonfly Red is here. And this speaker, because this speaker, the Technics SV-500, is a neutral sounding speaker, very dynamic, very detailed, very correct, and I want it to sound a little bit warmer, and that is why I bought this Vincent. And yes, the Vincent did what it had to do, make it sound warmer and still dynamic and transparent and so on, but not with its built-in DAC. I told you that in one of my previous videos. The built-in DAC of this Vincent is not my cup of tea. It pronounces and emphasizes the voice, the mid-range, too much in my opinion, and a lot of detail just like fade away. It is, yeah, it's not completely gone, but it is not detailed enough in my opinion, and that is not only the top end, not only treble, it is also mid-range information, which is lost when you use the built-in DAC of the Vincent. I listened to the Vincent also with the ELAC Vela, the left one behind, and I liked the techniques even more, which made me rethink if I want to keep the ELAC Vela or the techniques, because I love the look of the techniques. My wife likes the look of the ELAC more, because the ELAC is slimmer and this one looks different. I love the look, I love this round thing. But let's go back to the amp. It sounds very good as long as you don't use the built-in DAC, and that's just my opinion. This amp is dynamic, is crystal clear and warm at the same time. And when I say warm, I listened to this speaker with different amps and I loved the detail and I loved the dynamics, but I missed a bit of hi-fi sound, not studio sound, because these speakers can sound maybe at on par with high-end studio monitors, but I want home hi-fi sound, high fidelity, not studio sound, and to say as much detail as someone in the studio would like to hear, and something that sounds more involving, more engaging, like home hi-fi should do, like I think so now. And that's what this amp does. Now it has a, I'm sorry, I have to change the mode here. So now the toroidal transformer is here, and the tubes I think are somewhere here. I'm not very sure, but it should be like that. Maybe I'm wrong, but there is a toroidal transformer built in, and that makes it the speakers sound full at low volumes, and yeah, the tube, I think, or the tubes are the part that gives the sound this special feeling. Now, or the wetness, like Jay Soulsick calls tube sound. Now, I will give you a sound demo of 2 songs, and one word to this, Dragonfly Red. Yes, even this sounds better than the built-in DAC of the Vincent SV-500, in my opinion. Again, in my opinion. Now let's start with this song. This was called Dynamics by Jay Young, and now the next one is called Sally. Oh boy, oh girl, I don't know if I should keep the Wähler or the Techniques. Now, if I would have to keep the Vincent, and I sold the Vincent SV-500, if I would have to keep it, I think I would go with the Techniques and not with the ELAC Wähler. But back to the Vincent. Why did I sell it? To be honest, it is just the built-in DAC. I don't want clutter. And the built-in DAC of my Arkham SA20 on the right the built-in DAC of that one is so much better. That is better than the Dragonfly Red. So that's why I've chosen the Arkham over the Vincent. But just sound-wise, and I want to emphasize that, just sound-wise, both are excellent. I love the tone of both. The Arkham is smaller, it has more inputs, and I think the inputs are a bit of a higher quality. So the Cinch inputs or RCA inputs of the Vincent are gold-plated, but the quality of that gold, I think, or the thickness or whatever, isn't as good as the ones in the Arkham. I guess the Vincent, which costs $9.99 if you buy it new, I think all of its costs went into the sound quality and not the body or the terminals. And that is okay, because it doesn't have to be the best. Now, I say that, I don't know if the Cinch or the RCA inputs have a good connection in 10 or 20 years. Maybe the Arkhams will. I don't know about that. Just comparing the sound, the Vincent is definitely an overachiever when it comes to sound. The toroidal transformer, this class AB sound, I would say the class AB sound combined with the tube preamp built in is amazing. Really, to me it sounds like I have two words. Either I don't like a speaker or an amp, or I like it and I call it amazing. In this case, the Vincent SV-500 is really amazing. It is dynamic, it is transparent, and it has a very, very beautiful tone to it. And as you know, I love beautiful tone, or tone which I call beautiful. So it is always my opinion, my taste. And I love full sound, I love transparent sound. When I say full, I mean the amp really has to wake up the speakers, and the Vincent does that, even though it has just 50 watts per channel into 8 ohms and 80 into 4 ohms. That is what I call real watts and not cheap receiver watts. These are real watts, and they make the woofer dance. That is amazing. Really, it sounds so good, and the instrument separation. And I know that's also due to the speaker, the instrument separation with this combo, and I call it a beautiful synergy. The Vincent SV-500 and the Technics. Now, if you have a neutral sounding speaker, then I would consider this SV-500 by Vincent. It looks great. I love this symmetrical look. You know, if there is a knob, here's 1, 2. If here is something, here is a 2, and so on and so forth. I like that, you know. Symmetry is nice to see, and that is it. Good bass, beautiful mid-range, sweet top end. To be honest, yes, the build quality can be better, but it is hard to get sound quality that is so much better if you don't pay more than 2,000 euros or something. And I'm just guessing, okay? I'm just guessing. Now, don't shoot me for saying 2,000 euros. Maybe you know something sounding better. I would love to compare the Vincent against the Unico Primo. There is I think it's an Italian brand, also a hybrid like this Vincent, with an tube preamp built in. Now, I will not have the chance to make a real A/B comparison, but I hope I can listen to the Unico Primo in the future and compare it to the Arkham, because my next step will be to compare the techniques and the Vela using the Arkham. Because when I used my last amp, the Rotel A14, I compared these two, the techniques and the Vela, and I preferred the Vela. Now with this amp, I preferred the techniques because it had a really better instrument separation and holographic. All the instruments, all the singer and all the elements were so holographic like in the room, and that impressed me very much, and it wasn't as obvious with the Velas. So if I would have to keep this amp, I would keep the techniques. But you know, the top end of the Vela is unmatched. The top end is so detailed and still so smooth. It is amazing. But the techniques is more lively. It is like more open, and this point source crossover design. Yeah, I think techniques nailed it. I think techniques nailed it 100%, because I didn't compare these technique speakers to the KEF LS50 Meter, but to the KEF LS50, and there is no contest, no comparison. These techniques sound so much better. It is, I don't know if I don't want to be mean. I heard that the KEF LS50s sound good with very expensive amps, but I guess the techniques SV-500 here sound amazing with expensive amps too. Now, in a nutshell,